you're coming in here as the third-round pick. Shedeur is coming in as the fifth-round pick, yet he brings a lot of the social media and the entourage and the hype and all the hoopla and all that kind of stuff. So what is your sort of mindset or approach to that whole notion of that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, life of simplicity is a life full of, focus. Life of, complexity comes with life of distractions, but for me, I'm focused. I'm simple. I know what I want to accomplish.
With that, though, what was your reaction when you found out they did draft Shedeur after they drafted you?
Yeah, I love it. I love it because of who it is. I think just for us both, you can learn from one another, but also it's not just us two in the room, at least for right now it is, but, going into the year, Kenny, Joe, and even Deshaun, just a bunch of guys who played a bunch of ball that we can all learn from one another.
Shedeur is 6'2", historically accurate, and I have seen him standing around normal-sized people. He's big. He's a big 6'2". Mahomes is 6'1.5". Aaron Rodgers, you never think about his size. He's 6'1", big calves, big wrists. 6'3", Matt Stafford. 6'4", Jared Goff. 6'6", Joe Flacco. Eli was 6'5". Peyton was 6'5.5" or whatever he was. Dillon Gabriel is noticeably smaller and thinner than Bo Nix, and Bo Nix is not ideal size in the NFL. He is a very, very small guy. Shedeur Sanders, he's much bigger and much better.
Dillon Gabriel walks into camp, and it turns into a nightmare fast. Every throw gets questioned. Every rep feels heavier than the last. And then Shedeur Sanders steps in, and the whole field shifts. Suddenly, the QB1 spotlight doesn't just move, it gets hijacked in real time. So what really happened out there at camp? Was Dillon Gabriel exposed under pressure, or did Shedeur just take over the moment no one saw coming? Stick around, because now we're breaking down exactly how this QB battle started flipping in real time. There are moments in a quarterback battle where nobody waits for an announcement. No statement, no chart update, no coach trying to calm things down with careful words. It just happens on the field, in front of everyone who understands football at a high level. And they all see it at the same time. No confusion, no debate in the room. The tape already made its call. At Browns camp, that kind of moment showed up fast. Dillon Gabriel came in with a chance to push for QB1. Big stage, big pressure. But the reps told a different story. He struggled to control it. Missed timing, lost rhythm. Looked like the moment was moving too fast. And while that was happening, Shedeur Sanders stepped in and flipped the energy of the entire field. Clean throws, calm control, sharp decisions. Every snap looked like he owned it. And just like that, the gap started to look real. Not on paper, on the field, in real time. This is where it gets loud, because it looked less like a competition and more like a takeover happening in front of everyone watching. This is where things need to be clear, because nothing about this was hidden or complicated. When Shedeur Sanders showed up, he didn't try to create a scene or force attention. No extra talk, no big moment for cameras. He just went straight into work. And the key detail is this. He stepped into the first group offense, the top unit, the real reps, the ones coaches use when they want answers, not guesses. That alone says a lot. NFL staffs don't just hand those reps out for fun. They don't test random players in that spot without a reason. That group is where trust starts to show, where decisions begin to form. And once you are in that group, every throw carries weight. Every read is judged like a final answer, not practice talk. Now on the other side, Dillon Gabriel's situation was completely different, and that difference matters more than people want to admit. He was working with the second unit. That is not the spotlight group. That is the group that usually tells you where a player stands in the current plan. It is the coaches saying, "Show us more before we move you up." And that is the reality Gabriel walked into. So the pressure was simple. No excuses, no confusion, just performance. He had to dominate that space so clearly that coaches could not ignore it. He had to force movement up the ladder. That is how quarterback battles actually change. Not with talk, with results that demand action. But instead of taking control, he stayed stuck in the same pattern. No real push, no clear takeover moment. And when that happens, the message from the field becomes louder than anything said in meetings. Then came the part that really shifted how this session looked, the 7-on-7 period. No pass rush, no chaos, just reads, timing, and accuracy. Pure quarterback work. And in that setting, Dillon Gabriel did not separate himself. He went 3 completions out of 6 throws, half successful, half not. And worse than that, the ball didn't just fall incomplete, it turned over twice. That is the part that changes the tone. Because in that drill, there is nothing stopping a clean throw except the quarterback himself. No defenders in his face, no pressure collapsing the pocket, just simple decision-making and execution. And still, the result came out messy. Not sharp, not controlled, and definitely not strong enough to claim control of the moment. That is why this session did not just look off. It looked like a missed chance at a time when every single rep was supposed to matter most.
Bitch. Bitch. Where's bitch? Bitch.
What really sticks in this story is not the box score, not even the 7-on-7 numbers. It is that one last throw in his 11-on-11 work, because that snap tells the full truth in a way stats never can. Dillon Gabriel set it up right. Motion moved, defense shifted. He read it out step by step. It looked fine on paper, clean process, normal quarterback work. Then came the release, and that is where everything fell apart. No power behind it, no sharp finish, no real drive on the ball. It came out soft, almost unsure, the kind of throw that hangs in the air too long. And when a ball floats like that at this level, it is already in danger before it reaches the target. That is not just an incomplete pass. That is a warning sign in slow motion. And what makes it worse is who made the play on it. Not a star defender, not a locked-in starter, a tryout player, a guy fighting just to stay in the building. A player with nothing guaranteed, just a chance to show something. And he read it clean, stepped in, took it without panic, easy interception, no struggle, no contest. That matters more than people want to admit, because coaches do not just see interceptions, they see who made them. When a veteran corner jumps a route, it is part of the game. When a tryout player picks off a routine throw, it turns into a full film room conversation. It becomes a teaching point. It becomes a clip that gets replayed. Not because the defense was great, but because the mistake should not have happened in the first place. And Gabriel gave them that moment right there on a basic rep. Then things got even worse off the field. Because the pressure did not stop at practice. It carried straight into the press room. A simple question came his way. Nothing tricky, just a basic ask about his off-season. Where he trained, what he worked on, how he prepared. A normal chance to show focus and detail. And instead of clarity, the answer that came out was empty. I was places. That was it. No detail, no story, no effort to explain anything. And in a quarterback battle, that kind of answer lands hard. Because coaches are not just watching arm strength, they are reading mindset. They are listening for ownership, for seriousness, for structure. And that answer gives them nothing to hold on to. It feels careless in a moment where everything is being judged closely. Meanwhile, on the same field, Shedeur is stacking clean reps, calm reads, and control of the offense. And that contrast is what starts to shape the real picture of this competition.
Overall, I thought he did a good job of standing in there, taking those hits, and playing decent in this game. But now when you look at some of the negatives on film and the things that he needs to get corrected, he's making some throws that you can't make in these type of situations, especially on the road and especially as a rookie on an offense that's struggling to move the football. The Browns are way too predictable on offense right now when it comes to throwing the football. I don't know if he has a high enough ceiling right now to be a franchise starting quarterback in the NFL that you can build off.
I don't think he did enough to keep his job at all. You say he playing good.
I said he's not playing bad.
Oh, from what I watched, I counted 10 throws that I was like, all right, them pretty good throws. 10 out of 52 though. He's not playing winning football, man. You say you don't know if he could be an NFL quarterback. I don't either. We got to see something. Let's see what Shedeur got with this team before we break it up and trade everybody. You might as well let Shedeur rock while you got this group.
When Dillon Gabriel was pushed deeper about the system, things did not improve. If anything, it got more unclear. He started talking in circles. He mentioned how offenses are kind of similar, how reads change depending on coaching style, how every day is just part of a learning process. It sounded long, but it said very little. That is the key issue. Real quarterbacks who are locked into a playbook do not speak like that. They do not hide behind broad lines. They talk with detail. They talk with purpose. They show you they have lived inside the system. Gabriel did not give that. He gave safe words, soft words, words that fill time but never give real meaning. It felt like a check-down answer in a pressure moment. Nothing direct, nothing sharp, nothing that shows full control of what he is learning or what he believes he can execute. Now compare that with Shedeur, and the difference becomes impossible to ignore. This is not about forcing a story. It is about what is actually being shown. When Shedeur speaks, he is specific. He talks about mechanics he fixed. He talks about film work in detail. He talks about how coaches challenged him and how he adjusted his game step by step. He does not stay vague. He does not hide behind general talk. He explains what he did and why it matters. That is what stands out. It sounds like a player who was fully locked in during the off-season, not casually involved, fully invested. And that shows up in how he carries himself on the field too. Clean decisions, calm feet, fast reads. Everything looks connected. His words and his actions match. That is why the gap feels so real right now. One side sounds unsure. The other sounds fully built for the moment. And this is where the story becomes bigger than just practice reps or interviews. Because what happened last season in Cleveland is now part of the background whether people want to admit it or not. Shedeur's time in that system was not smooth. It was not built around him. It was not designed in a way that helped him shine. In many ways, it held him back. Limited chances, uneven support, a structure that never fully opened the door for him to grow the way he should have. Meanwhile, Gabriel was inside that same environment watching it all unfold. He stayed in the background of it. No public pushback, no clear acknowledgement of how uneven things looked. He moved through it quietly and benefited from how the system was already set. Now both are in a new fight, a clean slate on paper, but the field is telling a different story. Every rep is exposing who adjusted, who prepared, and who is still catching up. And right now, Shedeur is not just matching the moment. He is taking it over in a way that is becoming harder and harder to ignore. This is a different setup now in Cleveland. That needs to be clear from the start. Todd Monken does not run things like a politics game. No hidden favors, no quiet protection for names on a list. No "we'll see" language to cover confusion. It is simple with him. One question only matters. Who helps us win right now? That is it. No background story, no reputation shield, no draft label safety net. Every rep is judged on the field. Every throw gets measured in real time. And from the first day of camp, that question started answering itself without needing meetings or debates. One quarterback stepped into the first group and looked in control. Calm feet, clean reads, fast decisions. The offense moved with him like it had direction, like it trusted him. The ball came out on time. Defenders had to respect it. Everything looked stable, like a unit already forming around him. Then the other side of the field told a completely different story. Dillon Gabriel did not look settled in the same way. The rhythm was not there. The timing felt off. The results showed it clearly. In moments where a quarterback has to take control, it slipped away. Short sessions, missed chances. A tryout player even walked away with a clean interception that stood out more than anything else from that group of reps. And that is the part that hits hardest. Because in this system, there is no hiding behind labels or past expectations. You either look like you belong in the starting conversation, or you do not. And on that day, the gap between the two quarterbacks was not small. It was obvious. One looked like he was already settling into QB1 energy. The other looked like he was still trying to catch the moment before it moved past him.
Well, it's too early to really evaluate him, other than it's been great that he's been in the building. It's refreshing to see a player that recognizes where he's at and where he wants to get to.
And Gabriel hasn't been in the building?
As far as I know, he has not. I have not seen Dillon yet. Deshaun was in early when I got the job. I got a chance to sit down with him.
And this is where the story becomes bigger than just one practice. Because Shedeur did not walk into a clean situation in Cleveland. Far from it. He came into a building where things were already complicated. A year where development was not smooth. A year where chances were limited and growth was not fully supported the way it should have been. That kind of situation can break a young quarterback. It can make them doubt. It can slow everything down. But instead of falling into that, he absorbed it. He stayed ready. He studied. He adjusted. And now, when the system changed and a new coaching voice took over, he showed up prepared in a way that is hard to ignore. Not slightly ready, fully locked in. And that matters more now than ever, because Cleveland has been starving for stability at quarterback for years. The patience is gone. The frustration is real. And in that kind of environment, the player who shows control, confidence, and steady growth is the one who starts pulling everything toward him. Right now, that is exactly what Shedeur is doing. What they are seeing in Cleveland right now is not a long-term project. It is not a wait-and-see situation. It is a quarterback who stepped into first-team reps and looked ready from day one. Clean reads, fast decisions, full control of the offense. The kind of presence coaches notice instantly because it matches what they want right now, not later. No depth chart change is official yet. No press conference has confirmed anything. But the practice field already showed the direction through reps and how the offense flows when he is in. On the other side, Dillon Gabriel did not take that same control. The timing was off at key moments, and one of his most important reps ended in a throw that came out without conviction and turned into a turnover. And in a quarterback battle, that matters more than anything, because every rep is a message, and every mistake gets louder when someone else is already stacking clean answers. Even if nobody says it out loud, the shift is already happening on the field. Right now, Shedeur is playing like the guy who owns the moment, and everything around him is starting to reflect that. The film shows it, the reps show it, the energy shows it. The only thing left is the official word catching up to what's already clear. If you want the real story behind this quarterback battle as it keeps unfolding, hit subscribe and like so you don't miss what happens next.